Welcome back to another episode of Cover to Cover. You're here with Mo,
Andrea,
and Morgan.
And today we want to talk about dystopian futures, the impact of being a bookseller, the Texas A&M Library Collection, and Murder He Wrote. And we also have a fun video short for you today. But first, we need to take a stand.
Now, we have all talked about reading preferences on this show, but we want to defend something that all three of us do all the time, and that is reading more than one book at once.
Ohio State University published an article earlier this year detailing the benefits of juggling multiple books at once. And we have to say, we agree. Some of the notable reasons were it's a good challenge for your brain, it clears up your TBR list more quickly, and it gives you more room to explore different genres. So what are some other great benefits that we love?
I know for me personally, and I'm sure you guys feel this way too, you just never know what kind of mood you're going to be in when you want to read a book, right? So having lots of choices kind of alleviates that anxiety for me.
Yeah, I always like to select books that have like fierce like characters, you know, and so sometimes shy characters and learn from those characters. So just getting to be like one person one day who's like so sassy and reading all about her, and then another day, you know, reading something about someone who did some really sweet things, you know, it definitely depends. It's just like choosing a different outfit for the day, you know?
For sure.
Very true. Sometimes when you're reading a book like this, which is this thick, sometimes you just got to put it down.
Yeah, you need a break.
And you need to go to something else, which, by the way, ladies, I finally finished this Nicholas Sparks book this weekend. It took me long enough. The problem is that I checked it out on ebook, right? And then I don't know why, but you check things out on ebook, they just disappear after a while. You can't keep them forever. And so then I had to wait for it to become available at our public library. So this is done.
This is done.
I only cried the last 20-some pages of the book.
Good.
Oh, okay.
Just to let you know. What I would like to know is what is the most number of books you have read at once?
Probably like realistically committed to actually reading like 4 is the max that I can do.
Yeah, I would say the same, like maybe 4 or 5. I don't think I've ever gone to like 10.
Traditionally like 2. I like to have like at least 2 choices, right?
Yeah.
Like that makes sense for me.
That's 2, like, I don't know, split between 2 books, because then I'd be comparing them, so I like to keep my options open.
Yeah.
But I think definitely when I'm exploring different genres, I like to kind of like dip my toe in the water, so if I'm exploring something I haven't really read, you know, I normally pick like a lot more books that I'm familiar with, you know?
Yeah.
That's when I typically do a lot of like my multiple book sorting.
Sounds good, yeah. I'm about 4 or 5 is what I do. Some of them I just never get done, so some of them, like this one, takes a long time.
For sure.
Yep.
Well, having access to libraries makes acquiring multiple books at a time easier, like you checking that out. And when librarians get books returned to them, they sometimes have surprises hidden between the pages, and we don't mean the good kind.
That's right. Librarians are no stranger to finding weird things left in books. Book Riot has an article out right now written by a librarian who wanted to find out from other librarians what are the weirdest things that they have found in books. Some notables are a tin can lid, the beginnings of an erotica novel, $100 in 20s, hair taped to the pages, and some even less desirable things.
So reading this article made me feel really icky for, you better check, for the librarians, because how much hand sanitizer must they have to keep just by checking if it's
Right.
Like, it's unexpected to hear that people leave those kinds of things in it, but it's, for some things, not so unheard of, right? I'm prone to leave pieces of paper, receipts, or different kinds of bookmarks.
My first thought is, what about like children's librarians, like at schools? You know,
No.
what are you guys finding in your books?
I don't even want to think about that.
Unsavory things, to be sure.
Yeah.
And Morgan used to be a librarian.
Yeah.
Do you have any horror stories or bad things you discovered?
Not bad things. Mostly things like homework, receipts, papers, notes,
Oh, you
study
left your
notes.
homework? That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I've seen some gross things in there. I won't mention. Even like just checking out books, and you're like, ugh, what is that in the corner there?
So everyone be sure to do a better job with that.
I definitely I dog ear my pages. So I don't leave anything in my books.
You don't leave your bookmarks.
Yeah, but I just leave the nasty
pages for people to have
dog ears, I guess, that no one likes, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all.
Well, if we do check out books in the future, we will definitely be sure to keep the pages clean and return them in a crisp condition. Thank you, librarians. And speaking of the future, there are an awful lot of futuristic books being recommended right now.
Readers are flocking to classics like The Handmaid's Tale, 1984, and Brave New World. But what are some other futuristic books we should be reading, considering, and adding to our TBR lists?
Well, I'd like to recommend to myself and also to others The Sixth Extinction, An Unnatural History by Elizabeth Kolbert, which seems like a fascinating book. It won the Pulitzer Prize in 2014 and has been on my TBR list since then, which is an embarrassingly long time.
Interesting. Well, I would like to recommend The Road by Cormac McCarthy. Now, ladies, all of you watching, please know that as I make this recommendation, I also want to give you a warning. This book is very, very dark. But for some people, it gives them a sense of appreciation for life and their friends and family once they get through it. So some people really love this book, and some people absolutely hate it. So just putting that out there for you to consider.
A book that's always had a special place in my heart is The Giver, and I read it at a couple of the different schools that I attended, and it was the first book that made me really think about the world. I always read fantasy novels and books that followed certain characters, but this book incorporated every single part of society, all of the ups and downs. And in the book, love is taken away, basic emotions are null, humanity isn't part of the perfect picture, and really, in life, like, nothing can truly be perfect, and you can't just take rights away from one side or the other just for perfection. So this book gave me a lot to think about, and I would definitely recommend it.
And The Giver's a really great book for either people who aren't experienced with dystopian novels or for young readers as well, as like a good kind of gateway insight to that. Why do you guys think that we do flock to these dystopian novels, right?
Good question, yeah.
Because books are often an escape, so why are we escaping to this worse version of a future?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, these books open the real world, you know, and they open up what we're dealing with in society, what we could be dealing with society in a really interesting way.
Right. It's like a perspective future that, like, maybe we're learning about it so that we can avoid some of the things that happen, right? With The Handmaid's Tale, that's I think a big draw is we're like, this is a thing that could be.
Or did happen.
Let's be aware of the cyclical nature of it, and let's see what we can do to prevent that. Like, be aware and prevent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, maybe for some, they just read it to say, it's not as bad as it could be.
Could be worse.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of people who just think terrible things, and life is terrible, everything's terrible, our politics is terrible, the world is terrible, people are terrible, and that is a really terrible place to live. So maybe for some people, maybe they dive into these novels to say, oh, that's not as bad as it could be.
There are two different ends of the spectrum, like what you're saying, where it's like, not as bad as it could be. I'm personally a snowballer, so I'm like, oh my gosh, like if we don't get this thing fixed right now, it's going to happen. And so dystopian novels maybe aren't things I should be reading, but I love.
Maybe, yeah. I'm just not interested in it, so I'm just.
It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone, so it's not my preferred. I'd rather go to romance.
Yeah.
And
That's
sometimes have a good cry. Cry. Well, guys, let us know in the comments what your favorite dystopian futuristic novel is. And right now, we're going to take a quick break, but when we get back, we're going to talk about the impact of being a bookseller. Have you ever worked at a bookstore? Let us know. We're also going to talk about the Texas A&M Library Collection and Murder He Wrote. So we'll be right back.
We know that reading books can be life-changing, but we read an article recently detailing how selling books in a bookstore can be even more life-changing.
Bustle has an article written by Carrie Jerema trending right now detailing just this. She states that selling books changed more than just her reading habits. She says it taught her to evaluate what she does and doesn't like about books, and using this knowledge, she can now better select new books and make better recommendations to others.
She also said it broadened her horizon and made her step outside of her comfort zone with other genres.
Yeah, and she also said that she got an inside look at the publishing and marketing world because she was always in the bookstore, which gave her amazing perks and inside access.
All of these things combined with reading way more helped her shape her future of reading. So what do you guys think? Have you ever been a bookseller? I mean, it seems like a great job, right?
I think so, especially for somebody who is young and loves books. It seems like it'd be a perfect kind of entryway job to find out more about reading books in the publishing world.
Yeah, so I wonder how much when you work at a bookstore, how much time you really get to dive into reading. Because when I was a librarian, I also, when I was working, would have to work the bookstore. But the bookstore was basically a closet, and it was, it was academic books, so it wasn't that interesting, and it wasn't like working at a retailer.
I bet they do a lot of off-the-clock work, reading books and discovering things.
Well, I've worked retail throughout college and grad school, and not books, but clothes, and so I guess it's kind of the same thing that I would try on a bunch of things. Yeah, just to see, try it out myself. It's the best way to make recommendations. Oh, I tried that on. I think this will look great. And it's also a lot of fun. So I guess you do the same thing with books, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I guess we're doing that in a way. Like with our show, we're always talking about books and diving in. I know I've explored way more genres since beginning the show and getting recommendations from you guys and from Tiffany.
Yeah, it's all about, like they said, broadening your horizons, right? Opening yourself up to something that someone else says is great, especially if it's someone like you know and love and respect, that if they think it's good, maybe it is good and you should give it a try.
Yeah.
So that's been a really fun thing to do.
Yeah. And we sell books, of course. You know, you can always go onto GoRead.com and purchase books and get our flash sale books, but it's just not the same as working in a physical store and touching the books and being able to go through them and all of that. So,
but we do enjoy giving recommendations, and we love seeing yours, so please let us know what are good books we should be reading too.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of great jobs, I wouldn't mind working at the Texas A&M Library, mostly because they have an apparent connection to George R.R. Martin, author of A Song of Ice and Fire.
That's right. Martin began building a connection with A&M in the 1970s when he began attending AggieCon, an annual sci-fi fantasy literature festival. He also became enamored with their extensive libraries and their ability to archive and display important works. So he made a deal with them, and in 1993 he chose Cushing Library's Science Fiction and Fantasy Research Collection to deposit his personal collection of letters, books, and manuscripts. This was 3 years before Game of Thrones was first published.
His Game of Thrones collection has grown to over 50,000 documents and pieces, which is contained in over 300 boxes. Now, the archival team affectionately refers to his mass as the wall. To view any part of the collection, all you have to do is visit the library's finding aid online and request the item to be pulled for viewing.
So I've never been to Texas A&M. It's in College Station, Texas, and from what I understand, it's pretty much just that college there, so like why would I have a reason? But if I should ever find myself there, these archival assistants will definitely have their hands full pulling down boxes for me.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's like a little slot for the book everyone is waiting for, right? And if it's just like collecting dust, if they have like a little like empty space.
Blank box. Yep, yeah. I'm sure that's happening.
Or like this whole shelf and it says coming soon, but we don't
it's got dust all over it because it's been coming soon for a long time.
Yeah, for a long time.
And A&M has also decided to award Martin an honorary doctorate,
really?
Though he has said that he won't be accepting it until after the publication of the aforementioned The Winds of Winter.
So never.
So never.
Poor George.
So the question for them and for us is, so like when is that coming?
Yeah, so you know we have some feelings here about this. So we made a video short to illustrate just how many feelings we have. So please enjoy the wait for winter.
Hey, I just finished A Dance with Dragons. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I can't wait to see what the next one's gonna be called. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be called The Winds of Winter. Oh, that's so epic. Because it's like winter's coming, but like it's kind of already here, so it's the winds. Oh my gosh, and the last one is gonna be called A Dream of Spring. Oh, and The Winds of Winter is gonna be out by the end of this year. Oh my god, I can't believe it's so exciting. And the last one, there's no release date, but like I'm sure it's probably just like a couple of years, like, you know, it's almost here. I mean, like, I'm sure he's working on it. It's not like he's working on anything else. I mean, like a couple of years between books is just like pretty standard, yeah? I mean, you think he's working on it, right? It's okay. Definitely by next year it'll be out. Hi, is this George? I just wanted to call and say thank you, and I'm so glad you've had so much time to work on HBO's The Game of Thrones. And what's the deal with the World of Ice and Fire? Thank you sincerely from us, your fans, for you writing this companion novel for us, because you didn't have anything else to be working on. Oh wait, you did, didn't you, George? You had The Winds of Winter to complete, but if you could just for 1 second be honest with us, and let's be honest with yourself, it's never going to happen, is it, George? It's never going to happen. And I'm here to tell you that it is not okay, because we have been waiting for years. Years, I tell you, George. And I'm here to tell you that winter is coming. Winter is What's that? Oh, you're not. That's your dad, okay. Well, is he the George R? Oh, he's not. Oh, but you're familiar with. Yes, it's very upsetting. Well, thank you so much. I'm sorry. I hope you have a great day. Hi, is this George? I just wanted to give you a call today. I mean, you know, just like if it come out before, say, the end of 2018 would be really great for me. I mean, that gives us so much time to get it done before the end of HBO's The Game of Thrones, and that way we have the rest of this year to work on it, and then we can get it published by next year. And I mean, we could even just nix A Dream of Spring, do a 2-for-1 deal, get them all together. It's no big deal, really. And I mean, just like at this point, George, I would do just like anything. I would do anything to find out what happens. Hello? Hello? Motherfucker! You know, just knowing that winter, like, is coming should be enough. And it is. Because, I mean, it's just so much to live up to with all the, like, hype and the expectations. I mean, can you imagine? And we are so mean to him, the fans. I mean, it's fine. I'm totally fine with it. It's no big deal. It's fine.
Yeah, did you guys hear Winds of Winter leak? Entire thing's online.
What?
And we hope you enjoyed the wait for winter. And let us know in the comments if you too have been waiting for years.
Well, not finishing a long-anticipated book series is criminal, you guys. But perhaps it's not quite as criminal as basing a crime novel on your real-life crimes.
An author in China was recently arrested as a suspected murderer in 4 cases from 1995. So the author was in the midst of writing a new book entitled The Beautiful Writer Who Killed. a story mimicking the murders he was arrested for.
So we know that you're supposed to write what you know, but if what you know is that you murdered a bunch of people, maybe don't write a book about it and then leak that book online, and so the cops find out that that was actually you murdering people, right?
Yeah, maybe not the best way to go.
Definitely
so we have kind of a joke in the office because Mo reads a lot of like murder stories. So we have a joke that Mo's a murderer. So if you ever write an account, or not, you know what, like a novel, which is really an account.
If I write a blog post.
Yeah. You might get arrested.
Could be.
I'm a little concerned right now.
I know.
Yeah.
It's this funny joke.
So I wonder what's going to happen to his book, though.
Right? Maybe he'll get it published OJ style while he's behind bars.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Or someone would want to buy it for like a TV show or movie or something.
Probably. Yeah. Lifetime original.
Yeah. Or like Law and
Lifetime
Order
in prison.
Law and Order will be like, we don't have enough content.
Let's borrow that.
Let's borrow his stuff.
That's
Use
what
it.
Law and Order should just like copyright like crappy crime novels and be like, we'll take it. We're fine.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let us know in the comments any questions or comments you have. And don't forget to share this post and send us a message for a free t-shirt if you'd like one. In the message, send us your size, your mailing address, and your preferred style. We got V-neck and crew neck t-shirts.
Oh, love free t-shirts. So cool. So you guys have to grab your free t-shirt.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope that you have a great week. I'm Mo.
I'm Andrea.
And I'm Morgan.
And we will, of course, be back on Wednesday, August 23rd at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time. Until then, keep reading, writing, and being awesome. I know we will. Bye.
Bye.